Hello everyone, my name is Legend Ronnie and this game is Rise of Kingdoms. Trap account, or the definition of a trap account. This is pretty much what this video is gonna be about. This is one of my new projects that I have started like 5 months ago and is getting finalized, or is getting very close to be finalized. I'm gonna go through all the steps and I'm gonna tell you guys even the mistakes that I have made. So I'm gonna tell you the good, the bad, and everything. There is free-to-play version, there is pay-to-win version about a trap account. But first thing, you're probably wondering, what is this? So the definition of a trap account, or what I understand or what I'm trying to mean by a trap account, is an account that has low amount of power, around 40 million mark, with a lot of troops inside, decent technology, and very good garrisoning commander, including equipment and all the good stuff. So this is the definition of a trap account. This is the short version of it. Now if you want to listen throughout the video, I'm gonna detail every single step that I just mentioned, and the most important one is going to be the last step, which is going to be the troops. So I'm going to go with the commanders, I'm going to go with the power, which is building and research. And the third point is going to be the troops, which, like I mentioned, is going to be the most interesting one. So if this is something that you want to try out, if this is something that you want to invest on, then stay a while and listen. The first mistake that I have done with this account is that I've used it too universal. So I've used him for everything. And by that I'm trying to say by even resource gathering and the bundles that I've purchased on this account. I've also assisted my main account with resources. You're noticing almost 3 billion resource assistance. So I definitely feed up my main account with a lot of resources. The second mistake is the troops. So it takes time to build all these troops. It takes a lot of time. So if you want to create a trap account, you want to avoid having that troops on that account. You want to avoid joining rallies. So that's going to be a project that you don't want to disturb. You want the water to be as clear as possible, as lean as it can be. But I had to use my account, so as you're noticing, I have about 900k T4 debt. So that kind of crippled a little bit and delayed the time required to get this account started. I'm also investing a little bit in this account, so this is kind of a pay-to-win version of a trap account. And you're noticing that I'm VIP 12. So I have 174 consecutive login days. That means almost 6 months. So this is an almost 6 months old account. Now the first thing I'm going to go for is the commanders. And before I'm going to go to the commanders, I'm going to show you the most important part of the trap account and where exactly you can use it. So the most important part of a trap account is anti-reconnaissance. You don't want your enemies to see what you have in your city. Let them try your city, because that's what you want to build a trap account for. And the main utility of the trap account will be in the Lost Kingdom, or if you're having a war starting in your kingdom and people actually don't know your account or that particular account. What you want to do with this trap account, you want to invite players to attack you. You want to invite the T5 players to swarm you, having the right commanders, having the right amount of troops and a decent amount of technology. And in the Lost Kingdom, this is why I'm saying that this is where you want to make the most use of this account, is in the Lost Kingdom, because that's where you meet kingdoms that don't know you. They don't know this account. They don't know what you have packed there. So you either park this account next to a pass, or you just random teleport and you just invite them. By having low power, the T5s, they'll say 40 million, 35 million power. I'm just gonna smash this dude. They're just gonna take out 5 matches of T5 and they're just gonna come and swarm you, and you're just gonna punish them. Have some fun doing it and just laugh. this is gonna be the reason of the trap account, and also taking rallies. You can also take rallies. If you know that the rally will not be reinforced, you can even take rallies. Because if you don't have the war frenzy, you can shield. So when things go sideways, you just pop a 8-hour shield. But anti-reconnaissance, this is something that you don't want to give them the opportunity to actually scout your city. Right, yo. Now let's go and talk about commanders. This would be the pay-to-win version of the trap account. Having level 60 Sansu primary with a max skills YSG secondary. It doesn't really need your YSG to be level 60. All it needs to be is just max skills. So this would be the pay-to-win version. You're noticing I'm showing you my all other commanders. There is nothing else leveled up or skilled up. It's just this guy for, barbarian purposes, just, smashing barbarians. But neither of the other commanders, they are leveled up. So this is the only legendary throughout the 6 months which I invested in. And I managed to max his skills. The other commander that I'm working on for the trap account is Pelagius. Now the reason I'm doing Pelagius is because I'm having a lot of cavalry in the city, and that's going to be another important point that I'm going to talk when we get to the technology part. Because it matters which commander you're going to use in your garrison depending on the troops that you have. Because for example, if you're having a lot of cavalry in your city, it doesn't make so much sense to have Sansu and YSG. I mean, they are very powerful, but my infantry and my archers, it's very, very limited. So if I go and show you my troops, you're noticing that this is not really that high numbers of infantry and archers. I'm having a lot of cavalry, which is like 340k. So for that reason, it would make more sense to have someone like Pelagius primary. Plus, Pelagius, kinda invites people to swarm. When people see Sansu, they go like, maybe not. But when they see Pelagius, they go like, oh yeah, let's smash this dude. Pelagius? But they don't know how much talents make a difference, and they don't know you probably have a legendary as a second in command, and they also don't know that you probably have quite some troops in there, right? Because that's the whole point of the trap account. You want to invite them, you want to build a trap for them, so they attack you. And if things get used to it, like, they no longer rally you, they no longer swarm you, you just change your name. There's nothing wrong. And in the Lost Kingdom, you also have double hospital capacity, or at least much higher hospital capacity. So you should never worry about having dead troops, but they're definitely gonna have hospital bills. And another commander that I'm working on is Herman. So depending on the troops that I will build the most in the city, that's how I'm gonna put the commanders on the garrison. By my aim is gonna be to use Pelagius primary because of the amount of stats I get on my calves, which is 15% attack and defense. I know Sansu and YSG, they are just fantastic and phenomenal together, but if I do that, then I need to train a lot of archers. That's kind of a reason why I'm also with Britain right now. I might just train archers, I'm not 100% sure. I just want to go with cabs. I just want to try a lot of cabs in defense with Pelagius. And like I said, this is the pay-to-win version, Sansu and YSG. But if you want to build a trap account as a free-to-play, my suggestion is going with Pelagius and Sansu, or going with Herman and Sansu. So this would be the pair that I would use as a free-to-play. One of these, either Pelagius or Herman. And depending on the one you choose, you can also know which troops you're gonna build the most in your city. Because obviously if you're going with Herman and Sansu, then you need to build more archers, and you need to choose a archer civilization like Britain. If you go with Pelagius, I would probably choose Byzantium or Spain, maybe Arabia. Arabia doesn't sound bad either. So I would definitely go with one of the Cavalry civilizations. Right. The reason I'm trying Pelagius, so I can get that out of the way is because having a lot of calves is so easy to farm in the Lost Kingdom. So it's so easy. You have no idea how easy it is to farm in the Lost Kingdom, even with this trap account, because you make action points. You need to make resources with this account. You need to make all sort of things. So when I farm farms in the Lost Kingdom, I take my main account and I take this trap account because they both have decent amount of troops, and I just kill the same barbs with 10 marches. That's exactly how I've also farmed Honor in. It's also faster, and I'm also spending action points on 2 accounts in the same time. So for that reason, I'm trying Cavalry. So I take that out of the way. Now in terms of talent builds, this is a special talent build on Sun Tzu, which is specifically made anti-swarming. So it's not that just I have Sun Tzu and YSG, which both hit 5 targets. I also have anti-swarming Garrison build. So if to take less damage if they want to swarm me. And that's the same build that I would do on Pelagius. But if I would go with Pelagius and I would do something like, well, I don't have it on this one, and I would do something like Pelagius and Sun Tzu, I would definitely get no die enemy, but I would not get feral nature. So I would probably get no die enemy, not get all the skills, keep rejuvenate, and get some cavalry points. Maybe at least halberd so I can do extra damage to archers, or probably even try to get emblazoned shield. So if I would go with Pelagius or with Hermann, I actually think I have a build on Pelagius. When I'm gonna upload his Commander Spotlight version 2.0, I'm gonna show it on that one. I have a build where I have emblazoned shield and some garrison and some skills, which is a very interesting build. I've tried it for a full cavalry team. It's with impregnable, with impenetrable fortifications, M3 fortress stratagem, and you have all the skill goodness, plus you have emblazoned shield. So that's a a very interesting build and very tanky build, which I've tried on Pelagius and it worked. And putting Pelagius with Sun Tzu, and there you go. Just invite them to swarm your city. So as part of the commanders, that would be the commanders I would work on. Now I would also say as equipment, you only need to equip one commander. So this is the good part of the trap account. Anything that you produce, either from Sunset Canyon or whichever other events, Shadow Legion, from any events that you manage to produce equipment, everything that you have to spend is just on one commander, because you have the primary garrison commander. That's the one that matters, and this gives you even better advantages against anyone, because you can craft very high level equipment by just focusing on one commander at a time. And that's also the good part. Now let's go to the power part and the building part. Now as part of the buildings, you do need all hospitals to 24, and that's a bit costing, because if I want to upgrade one to 25, that's very costing in terms of resources, and castle to 25, that's not going to be an option. Your academy is going to be 24, and the mistake I have done as part of the buildings is getting most of the farms to 25. Probably the food farms is no problem, so you can definitely do the food farms. 143 power, 43,000 power is nothing. It's same with the lumber. You can definitely max this out to 25, so you can get some normal generation of resources. This is really good. Stone as well, you can get stone as well, but the problem is the gold. So I got the gold because I was going to migrate and I had a lot of resources, so I was like, no, let me just upgrade the gold mines. But look at that, I didn't take this in consideration, the 735,000 power per gold mine. So that's almost 3 million power in my gold mines, which I could have kept lower, because you're building this account as a trap account, so gold shouldn't be a high priority on your trap account. So this is one mistake that I have done with the buildings. Any other buildings, you can keep them as low as possible, because like I said, you're building this as a project, this is something special that you want to do with this account. Let me just open this real quick. Right, Tavern to 25, again, you don't need it. You don't really need Alliance Center either to 25. This is just power increase, which is unnecessary. Now let's go to the research part, because this is, again, very interesting. So a mistake that I have done on the research part as well, this is something that you can also skip, but engineering and mathematics, you must upgrade them. So this is a must-have, engineering and mathematics. You need to get them 10 out of 10. There's no other question. This is out of the question. You need to max this out 10 out of 10. My mistake was getting the productions and the gatherings. So I upgraded the production and the gatherings. The 5 out of 5, those you can do them, they are very low power. But the 10 out of 10, these are very, you know, and they do grant some power, 130,000. All this power, it adds up to your general power, because you want to keep your power as low as possible on a trap account. And this is some mistakes that I have done, because when I started this account, I wanted to make it a farm account. Then I got the idea of a trap account, so I went on that direction, but then I lost like 900k troops in the second season of KVK. Then I was like, no, I just screw it, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna build back a farm. So I started working on economy technology, and then I maxed out YSG, and I was like, dude, I maxed out YSG, this is definitely gonna be a trap account. So I went back on trap account, but again, I've done a lot of mistakes. So you need to keep the power as low as possible. Like I told you about the buildings, you also don't need this. You don't need the gathering one. You can do a couple, because you can check on the information which one are the most powerful ones. So it's the last two. So you can go 8 out of 10. That's 135,000 power. That's fine. It's nothing that crazy. Plow, no, this is production. You can definitely max this out. Once you get your buildings to 25, you definitely want them, because they will just increase your production. So again, you know, there's couple of mistakes I have done. And going back, and what is important on the Trump account is the military technology. So the military technology up to camouflage, you need to max out everything. That's out of the questions. Now, the mistakes I have done is getting combat tactics, defensive formation, 10 out of 10. This is very unnecessary. This is a large amount of power increase and speed ups spent. My trap account would have been ready by now if I would have conserved or used better the speed ups. But I kind of just throw away speed ups, and I was a little bit careless. So if I would have played better with my speed ups, this trap account would have been ready by now. So a pay to inversion should take about 5 months, 5 to 6 months on a trap account, depending, you know, how deeply you want to spend on. But I don't think I spent more than 500 on this trap account, to be honest, on a 6 month period. 4 to 500, maybe even less than 5. That's pretty much about it. And it would have been ready, but I went a little bit careless with the speed ups. So if you're noticing the last two, that's 1.3 million power. The last two research. It's true that is 7% attack or 7% defense, but again, you want to have decent amount of stats with low power. So for that reason, combat tactics, defensive formation, and herbal medicine, you need to keep them 8 out of 10. Not 10 out of 10. I didn't check the power, you know, I just started upgrading, and I started to wonder what's going wrong when I saw my power going over 25 million. So that's when I was like, something's definitely going wrong. And I started checking the power on this, and then I've noticed that it's quite 1.3 million for 7% stats. I mean, I'm not saying that 7% stats is something you want to give away, but for a trap account, you want to keep your power lower. So even this one that is going right now, herbal medicine, shouldn't have done it. 8 out of 10 is perfect. Now this is the important part. The swordsmen, the archers, or the cavalry. These 3 type of units, this is where is the important part and where you want to throw in your research. Now, as far as I know, a City Hall 20, no, not City Hall 24, Academy 24, I think you can only do this 9 out of 10. You can only do this 9 out of 10. I'm not 100% sure because I'm max tech for a while now, but that's what I believe. So for that reason, this is where you want to choose which troops you want to max out. So if you want to go cavalry, like I mentioned, that's going to be the unit that I'm going to have the most, probably about 800 a million T4 at least. If it's going to be the cavalry, then you definitely want to get stirrups and plate armor as high as possible. If it's going to be archers for you, then you want to get the archer one. If it's going to be infantry, then you want to get the infantry one. You don't want to increase your power as high as possible, but again, for the majority of the troops that you have in your defense, you want them to have as high stats as possible. Medical corps, combined arms, and encampment, you can upgrade them as much as City Hall Academy 24 allows you. So as much as Academy 24 allows you, you can definitely upgrade this, as high as possible. This one requires cartography already, so it's out of the question. Medical corps, it can still go up, and combined arms, it can still go up. Right, so that's pretty much about the military technology. If your power is still very low and you actually want to increase some of the other troops, you can definitely go up. It's just one day, just 28,000 power. But try to keep in mind or keep in check, your power as well. So whenever you're doing upgrades, and you also want to keep in mind the speed ups, because that's not something unlimited that you have. This is why I said that this was a mistake. This was a lot of speed ups that I used. Now, as part of speed ups, to tell you this one as well, all the universal speed ups that you make on your trap account, they can be used to train troops. So all these speed ups, they're not necessarily just built for research. So this is one mistake that players make. They say, well, I don't have troops, because they keep all their universal speed ups just to research technology. Well, these speed ups, they can be used, and I guarantee you they were perfect on training troops. So you can always replenish your ranks. Now here comes the troops, and like I said, this is the interesting part when it comes to the troops. Like I mentioned, the amount of troops that I have is pretty low, 1.1 million, but with a bunch of tier 1. The idea is to have about 1.5 to 2 million tier 4 troops. Now this is very achievable on a 5 to 8 month period. So 5 months to 8 months period, 1.5 million or 2 million tier 4 troops. That's very, very achievable, and just focusing on one type of troops. Even without spending, you can obtain these troops, and I guarantee you'll be able to obtain these troops. The second part is, when it comes to the troops, once you get your tier 4, 1.5 million, 2 million tier 4 is training tier 2. So all the speed ups that you have, they go on tier 2. So you need around 2 million tier 2 troops. And you have two options. You either go on the troop that you focus your research more. So if it's calves, you're definitely going to train tier 2 calves. If it's archers, you definitely train archers. If not, you go all the way on infantry. But if you go all the way on infantry with 2 million tier 2 infantry, then you might need to use Eulgi as well in defense, because that's 15% attack and defense that expertise Eulgi gives to your troops. And you're definitely going to need that. Now the theory behind this and why you're using the tier 2 troops, let's just pick archers for example. All these stats, attack, defense and health on these tier 2 troops will stack with your tier 4 troops. So that means that you're going to bring a lot of attack, defense and health on the table. So for example, you know, anyone who's gonna try to swarm your city, you're gonna have around 3.5, 4 million troops in that city. They will 100% fail. So a T5 player will 100% fail to swarm your city. You're just gonna cost him maybe around 250k dead, and you'll probably have around 350k hospital capacity. But how long will he need to recover his dead troops, and how long will you need to heal a bunch of tier 2? Because mostly the lower tier troops is what usually fills up the hospital. You know, the tier 4 also fill up the hospital some, but the majority is going to be the tier 2. So that's the theory behind it, and that's why these trap accounts actually work, and that's why they are so good. And I'm actually hyped about it, and I can't wait to actually put this in practice. I'm very, very close to get my tier 4 troops where I want to. I just need to train probably about 500-600k. I believe that I do have the speed ups, and after that everything goes in tier 2. I would have been ready, but like I said, Lost Kingdom was very, very hard, so I had to sacrifice like 900k troops on this account. That's all I have to say about trap account. So keeping a very low power, decent amount of technology, and large amount of troops with very good commanders will definitely gonna bring a lot of pain to your enemies or whoever's gonna try to hit that city. This is a side project. If this is something that you want to do, I'll promise you that it will definitely gonna give you results. I will update this as I go forward. So as I keep going forward with this, I'm gonna keep update you. But unfortunately, because I've done so many buildings and wrong research, this account will probably be around 40, a little bit over 40 million power once it's ready. Maybe you can get around 35 million mark with a trap account, with a proper trap account, which you might agree that is very, very much inviting players to actually hit your city. Right now, if I check my account, building power is very high, technology power is not very high, it's okay. Troops power is, you know, it's a bit low. But yeah, I did too many buildings. I hope you guys understand what the trap account is and what this project is. Like I said, I'm really, really hyped about this, and I'm excited to actually see it in action and actually working. I've seen a portion of it, because you're probably wondering how this idea came up. I've seen a portion of it from a player. I actually forgot his name. That was a long time ago, and there's actually two of them. So the first player I've been talking to was a T5 player who was actually defending rallies. He was taking rallies by having a lot of tier 2 in the cities. So he was having like, I don't know, 1.9 million tier 2 in the city, and like a million T5 and some T4, but nothing crazy, actually nothing crazy. And he was taking rally like a boss, and he was showing me the reports, and all he had to do was just healing mostly tier 2 troops, and that was really really crazy to see those reports. But this was a long time ago. And after that, another player tried to put this in practice, and he actually sent me reports, but his technology was very low. He was like 20 million power or less. So his technology was like next to zero, but he had over 2 million tier 2 infantry and about 1 million tier 4 altogether troops. And he was getting swarms by T5, and he was just causing them a lot of dead, and his hospital bills were very low. So this is where I got the idea, and it was also a portion from it is also from Lord's Mobile. So information comes from other games and players, and I just put it all together to make this video and make this project of mine that I'm actually trying right now. There's a lot of sources, but again, it takes time. It's not something you can just snap your fingers and make it happen. Any question, guys, drop in the comment section below. I will definitely gonna answer them, and let me know what you think. Until next time, peace. Peace out, yo, and take care.